Do you suffer from chronic niceness? Are you tired of saying yes all the time? I've been there. So let's talk about it. It's time for Grace Points. You know what? In my life, I've been accused of being too nice. And admittedly, I've suffered from chronic niceness. And it all comes from a desire to make people happy. As a child, I was a people pleaser, even into my teenage years, and sometimes as an adult. I was a people pleaser. That means I would say yes to too many things, overextend myself, and sometimes sacrifice my own wants and needs and desires. And I know I'm not the only one. And being a people pleaser is about fear. That's right, fear. F-E-A-R. It's about fear. Fear of what people are going to think about you. Fear that you're going to let someone down. Fear that you're going to be rejected, or fear that they won't like you at the end of the day. And all of us want to be liked. The challenge is we wrongly find our value in what we can do for other people and what they will think about us. Will they approve? Will they give us a favorable review? And that's never sustainable. It's impossible to sustain because our peace rises and falls on the rejection or approval of people. And that's never what God intended. And when we're dependent on people's approval, we can even be tempted to compromise principle. Our relationships are out of whack, they're out of balance. We begin to resent those people that we're saying yes to all the time. And sometimes we even dislike ourselves for not saying no and not speaking our minds. And that was never God's plan. The Bible tells us in Galatians chapter 1, verse 10, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Listen to Paul. If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Let me tell you what I've learned about pleasing people over the years. It's not worth it. It's not sustainable. Because you can't please people and be pleasing to God. You can't be a people pleaser and be pleasing to God. Why? Because the central motivation runs counter to real Christianity. It's humanism. It's putting people on the throne of your life, even if it's not yourself. It's elevating people over God. And that was never God's plan. It's putting people on His throne instead of Jesus Christ. Here's the challenge. God created you to have genuine joy and peace. And people can't give that to you because they're not the source of genuine joy and peace. God is. God is the only true source of lasting joy and unshakable peace. Yes, we're called to help people and be there for people and love people, but the motivation is about God. It's about being pleasing to God. It's about honoring God, and sometimes the only way to honor God is to say no in a particular situation. Your life is only complete when you say yes to Jesus, because your yes is sacred. You got to stop throwing it around to everybody. As children, we might say, I just want them to like me. But if you live for the approval of people, then you'll die by their rejection. Mature Christianity says, I want to live to hear God say, well done. Whose approval do you need today? I mean, desperately. Is it your spouse? Is it your family? Is it your boss? Is it your coworkers? Or have you learned to declare over your life, I just want to hear God say, well done. I'm not here to please people. I'm here to please God. It's a tough one for us today, but I hope you'll think about it. Anyway, it's great talking with you. It always is. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great one. This is Grace Points. God bless you and your sacred yes. I'll see you.